now that I've thoroughly dizzied myself and windblown my hair, nature and beauty. This is our topic for today, and so we are at my home. This is where I grew up, and you guys saw a little bit of this in my other video, but I was walking around over here recording some of my other videos that I know you guys are gonna see, and I have even my same dress on, but I thought, you know what? I don't have to change my outfit. I don't have to look like it's a different day to do another video if I want to shoot another video. So we are doing this nature and beauty video today, and how all of this ties into learning and language and life and everything that we do here. So we are, you guys can see a little bit over here. Okay, so just this a little bit so you guys can get a nice shot of my home over there where I grew up. So it is not the prettiest, not the biggest, not the nicest even like house, but I grew up over there, and yeah. And then we are over here on this other side is the adobe house, so here we'll turn around so you can get a shot, kind of see how we're set up over here, and then we circle back around over here. So here we are, and nature and beauty. So as you've seen, I'm sure, within my content and within all of the things that I do, I absolutely love everything about language, but my perspective is maybe not the same as someone who just studies language, because I am not only language, because I am all of this, you know. I love to be out in nature. I love to see the beauty within everything, and I feel like that language is more than just language, you know. It's more than just English, Spanish, French, German, Russian, whatever language you speak. It's more than that. Language is communication, language is expression, and it's so intricate, and it's so much more than we give it credit for, because everything around us is a language. Like nature, understanding art, understanding math, understanding anything is a language all in its own. And I come at this from this perspective because it just is for me. Like, this just is how it is for me. It's not something that I choose to say like, oh, language is this different thing. It's just the way that I see it, and I share it the way that it processes through my brain, and I just allow it to come out. So for me, language is not just a language. Language is language itself. It is not necessarily like, I don't study languages and language because I just want to learn a bunch of languages. I'm fascinated with language itself, like language as a construct, and language within any kind of expression, as I mentioned, but also so many people think about language as just foreign language, right? Because if you say like, oh, I'm studying this language, or I'm learning another language, there's that foreign language aspect to it, that it's like, okay, so you're learning through grammar, you're learning these structures and all of that, but that's really not the way that I see it, because language is what I'm doing right now. Language is literature, it's poetry, it's spoken, it's everything all around us, whether we understand it or not, and whether we realize it's there or not. It is all around us, and that's what really excites me about language, is how you can play with it and manipulate it, especially within literature and within poetry and within all of these different structures. I love just like, it's like taking all of the rules that you have learned and creating your own. Like, we learn all of these rules and structures, the grammar, the punctuation, and all of these things so that we can create our own. Because, like, yes, we do have to have these structures, right, to be able to communicate in a way that other people understand. But it's so much more than that, because especially when you look at, like, literature, I love reading and writing because of the depth of expression that I'm able to access there. I'm able to access there. And sometimes I can't even speak English. But there is I'm going to show you, we're going to take a little break right here. We have if you can see on this is a lizard on the wall. We are out in nature here. Alright, a little nature break. But yeah, language is all of that, all of those structures, and it's the same way like with business or with anything else that you do, because you're like, you learn all these structures and like these strategies and say, okay, do it this way. And even I teach a lot of strategies and I use them too, but then I make them my own after I learn them. And it's that same way with writing and like with poetry especially, and with all these like different styles. And some people don't necessarily see the connection between a native language and foreign language. They're like, oh, well, it's one or the other, but it's really not, because every foreign language is someone's native language. So native and foreign language, like, it's just a matter of how long you've been studying each language and how much time you have spent in an environment that speaks that language or reads and writes that language. Like, there's so many factors that go into it. But I feel like it's often misunderstood how like native and foreign language come together, because when you do start learning a foreign language, then it is like, yeah, it is quite a bit different than how you learned your native language for most people. But when you learn a language and you get to such a high level of proficiency, it becomes very similar to how you study a native language, because now you are really learning through practice, through reading, writing, speaking, and listening, and it becomes more like a native language. And that's how you get to even like that native level of fluency, because it's no longer just a foreign language. You're really getting to know it. You're really just not just studying it, but living through it, and you're using it and playing with it and finding your process and learning all the structures, but then, you know, molding it to your own liking of how you want it to be. And it's just so much more than we give it credit for. And there's so much beauty in everything that we can do with language, because it is infinite what we can do with language. And the process, it should be natural and not like, you know, like you force yourself to go through language. And this is kind of where the like non-native and native differences come in, where people think that like foreign is not necessarily natural, whereas native is natural. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can speak a non-native language naturally. It just is a matter of how much time and how much effort you take to really get to know it and to process it. And so there you go. Okay, so that is my spiel on nature and beauty that has evolved its way into an analysis of how foreign and native languages can be used beautifully and naturally.